Well, for those of you in the first state, did you feel some shaking this morning? There were plenty of social media posts about the earth shaking in parts of Delaware. Posts mentioned Wilmington, Newark, and the Christiana area. People wondering if there was an earthquake around 11:45 or so. So we went on a search for answers.
That it appears it was not an earthquake.
Say July was a really shaky month at Yellowstone National Park. The U.S. Geological Survey shared its monthly report on earthquake activity Monday. It says seismologists reported more than 1,000 minor quakes around Yellowstone last month. It is the most quakes reported at the national park since June 2017.
There were more than 1,000 earthquakes around Yellowstone for the month of July.
Most of the tremors were part of 7 different swarms. A swarm is a series of small quakes that happen back to back for a short period.
Now keep in mind, earthquake swarms are somewhat common around Yellowstone. The largest swarm was beneath Yellowstone Lake.
The steam vents and mud pots and all those geysers, more geysers than the rest of the world combined, are reminders that in the distant past, Yellowstone unleashed 3 world-altering eruptions.
The big one was about 2.1 million years ago, and that's this purple outline here.
The outline of the eruption is so big, it stretches out of the park and into Idaho.
One of them is hiding right under the surface of one of America's most picturesque spots.
Yellowstone, America's first national park, is probably best known as a place for bison to graze or for tourists to photograph. But to Michael Poland, it's something to study.
We had that big volcano in Iceland a few years ago, we remember.
Oh, yeah. The volcanic cloud has closed the skies over the UK, the Netherlands, Scandinavia, and northern France and Germany.
How many times bigger is that one?
Ooh, like probably 4,000 times bigger.
What does it mean?
Means I won't go to Yellowstone for a while. I'm going to wait till Yellowstone calms down.
Okay, and you'll get there just in time for it to
For the
break
big one.
loose. Yeah. I think it just means apocalypse, that's all.
To that breaking news overnight, a massive 8.2 earthquake shaking the coast of Alaska.
Yesterday's 8.2 magnitude tremor in Alaska is the largest earthquake to hit the U.S. in more than 50 years.
This video from Homer, which is between Kodiak and Anchorage, shows you the lineup of cars. People were saying, I'm out of here.
Earl says the quake ruptured a section of earth bigger than Delaware and moved it about 4 feet.
There was a tsunami recorded from this earthquake. Fortunately, there was not a tsunami like a teletsunami, which goes across the ocean and impacts Hawaii in a bad way.
Move to high ground immediately.
The tsunami warning was lifted, but the aftershocks continue.
And so far, we've recorded about 60 aftershocks, magnitude 3 and larger.
The tsunami warning in Kodiak, Alaska,
this is a very large event,
was a wake-up call.
Our weather team is also monitoring the news out of Tokyo at this hour.
Yes, as we reported earlier, a 5.8 magnitude earthquake rattled part of Japan within the last 30 minutes.
Yep.
Let's get you over to Frank for the latest.
And let me tell you why it's important. You remember that huge tsunami that was life-taking and devastating.
For sure.
That starts with an earthquake off of Japan. This is a common zone. It's known as the Japan Trench. It's basically where the Pacific Plate and the Asian Plate come together. So, in fact, all of these islands were created by this kind of activity. So it's not uncommon, but you want to pay attention to every one of them because anything bigger than that can cause real problems. We'll monitor this area, but you can see a lot of circles there. So this is not uncommon. It's just how strong they become. Just like in California, that makes all the difference.
The world ends. The last words man utters are somewhere in a lab. A guy goes, it worked.
That was Jon Stewart on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert last month, contemplating, well, the end of the world.